Myths that most people believe about women and dating. Dating can be both exciting and confusing, and a lot of myths and false ideas flow along with it. As you might guess, I talk to a lot of guys who are having problems with women. It's interesting to note that most men, especially shy ones, have an explanation for why they don't get along with women. It's not an excuse. They call it a good reason why they can't do what they want to do. These days, I think that every man who is having trouble with love has a secret reason, a unique and secret reason why he's not successful. I'm going to bet you two things. First, I'm sure you have one too. Second, I bet that your reason isn't as secret as you think. I can also promise you two things. First, I promise that your good reason is more common than you think, no matter how special you think it is. Second, I can promise you that millions and millions of men have been in the same position as you and have been successful with women and dating. I'm going to bust 7 myths or secret reasons why your love life isn't going well in this piece. 1. Women want rich guys. Many people have this wrong idea about dating, which is pretty common. But even though this is a popular lie, it is not true at all. This is why, since the time of the cavemen, men and women have changed how they choose a mate. People lived in groups called tribes and either hunted or gathered food. There was no money, no land, and no fortune. Does this guy get off his butt? Who were what women were interested in? Does he do something? Does he go out and work? Or does he just stay in his cave and be lazy? Even the best shooters often didn't find anything when they got home. That was known by women. In the time of cavemen, it was very important for women to mate with a strong, confident person who took charge, not only to stay alive, but also to make sure her children stay alive. Plus, these traits can be passed down. Her children would get these traits from their dad and be able to survive on their own as adults. All of this means that women aren't attracted to money because it wasn't around when our attraction process, what makes us want to be with someone, developed. Character traits are what women like about men. Money is only a sign of some beautiful personality traits, such as confidence, power, initiative, and so on. There are a lot more traits, but I chose these to help you understand the idea. So why do we believe that story? There are several reasons for this. To begin, we've seen the most beautiful women with some of the wealthiest guys in the world. It's true, but this is what makes it wrong. We drew the wrong conclusion from that fact. She must be with him for the money, we think. The truth is that she's not. She's with him because he has all these good qualities. She is drawn to certain traits because of the way her body has evolved over millions of years. If a woman meets a millionaire who doesn't have the good qualities that go with his wealth, she won't be attracted to him. The second reason we accept this myth is that society and capitalism tell us it is true. Work hard, get a degree, and make money, and the girl will like you. It works well for some very wealthy and powerful people to believe this, so it is spread all over the world. The truth is, though, that women don't like money. An interesting study was done by Jeffrey Miller, who is the most famous evolutionary psychologist in the world. He asked women, would you rather be with a man who got a lot of money from an inheritance, but didn't do much to earn it, or an entrepreneur who started a business, but failed for reasons out of his control, and now doesn't have much money? Many women would rather be with a failed businessman who tried than with a rich guy who didn't do anything to get the money. I'm going to say it again because it's so important. Women are interested in your potential, not your talents. Women will want to know more about you if they see material proof that you are successful. But if they find out that you're not like that on the inside, they'll think you're either a rich loser or a daddy's boy. In contrast, if you have the traits on the inside but haven't shown them yet, they will be drawn to you. A attraction is sparked by your inner traits, not your belongings. There's a myth that women want rich guys. What should we do instead? Before anything else, you should understand that money is just a way to show off good character. It doesn't matter how much money you have if you don't have good character. Once you know that, work on building these traits that make women want to talk to you. 2. It is more difficult to find pretty women. A lot of guys believe that the most beautiful women are the hardest to get. When I say perfect 10s, I mean it. That's not true though. People are less likely to approach beautiful women than their less attractive friends. People may look at them more, but they are approached much less often. For a moment, put yourself in her shoes. Every time she goes out with her friends, guys talk to all of them except her. Because of this, many beautiful women are less sure of themselves than their friends, who aren't as pretty. And deep down, they wish they were asked out more often. Another thing that makes it easier to talk to them is that they probably haven't dealt with guys being friendly before. A lot of people talk to less beautiful women, but they are often harder to talk to. That's because of 2 things. First, all the attention makes their ego bigger. And second, they know how to make guys feel bad more than anyone else. We think that the hottest women are harder to talk to because we have the wrong ideas about them. Being afraid of them makes us think they will be harder to get close to, which supports our original belief. Instead, do this. You need to understand some things. It's easy to talk to pretty women once you know these things. First, you need to understand that it's a reason not to talk to them. We all make up reasons not to talk to each other. They are what I call approach weasels, because they are meant to get you to back out of the approach. She's way too hot. I don't like her. I don't like her. Today I don't look good. I didn't get enough sleep. The list goes on and on. Second, you need to remember what I already said. Pretty women are easy to talk to, and you get points just for doing so. Third, you should know that she will think you are very brave for asking her. People often tell her she's pretty, but her friends get more attention, so she's more open to it. She also knows that most men are afraid of her. You are so much more confident than all the losers who looked at her, but didn't have the guts to go up and talk to her. So if you do, she will like you right away. She will also think that you are used to going out with very attractive women. A man will only feel safe talking to these women if he dates women like them all the time. That means social proof and pre-selection. It is thought that women are more interested in a guy when other women are interested in that man. So if you approach her, she'll think other beautiful women have already chosen you. This alone will make people want to be with you. 3. For women, Hollywood-looking guys are a must. The same wrong idea again. As I already said, our taste for mates changed over time in prehistoric times. It was hard to stay alive back then. Because of this, women have grown to be attracted to guys who are good at staying alive. If a woman mated with a guy who was good at survival, both she and her children would be better at survival. Being pretty means that our genes have changed less, but as long as you don't have 2 heads, how less attractive you are doesn't matter when it comes to your ability to survive. Why? Because having an uneven face doesn't have as much of an effect on life as having certain traits inside. I'm talking about your psychological and behavioral traits when I say inner qualities. These could be things like self-confidence, character strength, boldness, leadership, social intelligence, and so on. The only reason we believed that story was because we saw some examples and got the wrong idea from them. The fact that he's walking around with a pretty girl makes us think it's because of his looks, but it wasn't because of how he looked. Don't get me wrong, how you look is important. Not really that much though. For women, a man's looks are worth about 10% of what he's worth. His attitude and how he acts are worth the other 90%. Some guys feel good about themselves because of how they look. So it's not their looks that make girls like them. It's their confidence. Of course, magazines, movies, and pop culture have made people think that women want to look good. Even more. But it's not true. They want the mental traits that show you are likely to survive. Remember that our desire circuits developed in the Stone Age when it was really hard to stay alive. The old lie is not true. What should we do instead? First, you know that good-looking guys feel good about themselves because of how they look. Second, you understand that confidence is what makes this drawing work. Third, once you know all of that, you work on building real trust. 4, women want guys who agree with them. Let's get right to it and disprove this scam. A lot of my friends have been women. I have never heard one of them say, "I had to sleep with him because he always agrees with me." But I have heard someone say, "I had to have him because he's such a challenge." When men agree with them too much, women see them as weak and timid liars. Okay, now here's the thing. You already know that women are most interested in guys who are good at living. You also know that being dominant is one of the best traits a man can have to stay alive. More dominant men would eat men who weren't as powerful. So, authority is a strong way to draw people. It's much more important than good looks. Now, what's the opposite of a strong, powerful guy? You got it right. It's a guy who keeps to himself. If you agree with her too much, she'll think you're weak, which women dislike. Why did we believe that story? Faith and society have taught us how to act in this way. Being a nice, agreeable person is seen as normal in this culture. It's fine for a woman to say she wants a nice guy. No one will judge her, but it's not nearly as common for a woman to say she wants a strong guy who makes her feel sexually aroused. How can you avoid being the nice guy? You can start by not trying to find things you have in common with women when you talk to them. Don't look for things you and your partner share, like a favorite movie or drink. Instead, I want you to get to know her better and sometimes push her. The second thing you can do is just be yourself. There are going to be things you and women talk about where you have different opinions. When that happens, just tell her you don't agree with her and say so. That shows that you are strong and sure of yourself. That looks good. 5, women only date people who are like them. I have dated and had friends with a lot of different people throughout my life. Every woman I know has dated different kinds of guys at some point. Tall men and short guys. Men who look good and men who don't look so good. Men with more success, men with less success, etc. Just these 2 things linked these men together. The first thing is that they all had faith. Second, they all knew how to talk to women. Look, did you notice that the 2 things are traits and actions? Now, of course, women are attracted to certain body types, and they will look at him twice when they see that type. He might look good, but if he doesn't have the right mental traits, it's game over. A lot of women have told me that they fell in love with a guy who wasn't their first choice, but after talking to him for a while, they liked him. What took place? He had a chance to show who he was during their short conversation. Boom! Attraction was made. What made us believe that limited thing in the first place? Again, we just jumped to the wrong conclusion based on what we heard. Maybe a woman turned you down in the past by telling you she wasn't interested in you, and you took that to mean you weren't her physical type. But it was her nice way of brushing you off because you weren't able to make her like you. You probably didn't have enough confidence, or your behavior wasn't showing any important personality traits. You came to the wrong conclusion because you don't understand how love works. To say it again, the answer is to boost your confidence and learn how to talk to women. 6, women want to be committed. In a way, this isn't a lie. It's true, but not in the way you think. Women do want to be committed, but not right away. Making it clear to a woman right away that you want a serious relationship is a big turnoff. It makes you look like you need help. Also, I don't think I need to say that women don't like needy guys. Women want a challenge. They want to earn your love. What should you say to her? Instead of telling her you want a long-term relationship, you keep your desire for a serious relationship a secret, no matter how much you want one. If she asks, you can say, "Sure, I'm open to the idea of settling down with my ideal woman someday, but I'm not in a hurry." This will make her more interested, and it will also make her want to know what your ideal woman is. After she does that, just talk about the woman you want to meet. It's not about how she looks, but about the kind of person you want her to be. Next, pay attention to how your date talks about how she has these traits, or how she acts in that way. What you should do. Most of what we think we know about women and dating is wrong and based on culture. Culture tells us that women want ass kissers who are good looking, too nice, and have $1 million in the bank. It's also said that it's hard to get a beautiful woman. All of these things are lies, though, told to support religious ideas and big business. Women are drawn to guys because of how they act and how they act. All women find the confidence to be the most beautiful trait